What if I told you there's a cab service you can book right now in Jalingo? Sounds like a dream, right? No, it's reality. Let Supercab get you transported to anywhere you want to go in Jalingo, and let them also run your errands for you while you sit at the comfort of your home. And guess what? It is affordable, reliable and fast. They run a 24-hour service. You can click the link attached to this video to download the app, or you can also download the app on Play Store. I'm so excited for this, and I know you are too. Use Supercab today and be happy. Bye. What if I told you there's a cab service you can book right now in Jalingo? Sounds like a dream, right? No, it's reality. Let Supercab get you transported to anywhere you want to go in Jalingo, and let them also run your errands for you while you sit at the comfort of your home. And guess what? It is affordable, reliable and fast. They run a 24-hour service. You can click the link attached to this video to download the app, or you can also download the app on Play Store. I'm so excited for this, and I know you are too. Use Supercab today and be happy. Bye. What if I told you there's a cab service you can book right now in Jalingo? Sounds like a dream, right? No, it's reality. Let Supercab get you transported to anywhere you want to go in Jalingo, and let them also run your errands for you while you sit at the comfort of your home. And guess what? It is affordable, reliable and fast. They run a 24-hour service. You can click the link attached to this video to download the app, or you can also download the app on Play Store. I'm so excited for this, and I know you are too. Use Supercab today and be happy. Bye.
Hey Taraba State, let's ascend to the future. Imagine a world where entertainment, transportation, finance and commerce are at your fingertips 24/7. Welcome to the future. Taraba Business School and Taraba News proudly present a revolutionary lineup of products and services designed to transform your life. Sun TV, your premier 24/7 destination for local and international entertainment, news and educational content. Come to the broadcast of News Hour on Super Media Television.
Welcome to the broadcast of World News on Super Media Television.
Welcome to the broadcast of news across Nigeria on Super Media Television.
This is Sport Daily on Sun TV. Good morning, Nigeria. This is the morning show from Sun TV.
Supercab, safe, convenient and affordable 24/7 transportation services across Jalingo and Taraba State.
Welcome to today's politics on Sun TV. Today, we'll be examining the recent policy changes and their impact, the politics of the nation and their impact on governance in Nigeria. I remain your host, Abraham Maine-Joda. So as we gather here today to discuss the future of our nation, let us remember that the power to shape our destiny lies within us. Let's harness this power to create a brighter tomorrow. The future of our nation is not just about politics, it's about people. So let's put the needs and aspirations of our citizens at the forefront of our discussions today. With me in the studio to discuss the politics of today is Mr. Daniel Akukwen. Mr. Daniel, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm always very happy to sit beside you to make analysis like this.
Yes, for those of us that have been watching Sun TV, you will know that you is like a twin brother to me on this station, because we've done a lot of discussions together. And like you know, he's a public affairs commentator and a writer of repute, and is also the director of news and current affairs on Sun TV. So today we are going to be looking at one or two stories, one at the national scene and the others at the local level. So you're welcome, Mr. Once again, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So what has the day been like for you?
Well, everything is cool, just that the weather is actually harsh, but that's the time. We're looking forward to the rains any moment from now, so I don't know.
But if I will speak, for the past 3 or 4 hours, I saw you shivering in the office and you switched off the AC. So you shouldn't be part of those complaining about the harsh weather.
But you notice that I step out of the office to do 1 or 2 things outside, and anytime I go out, it's like I'm in a completely different environment. But I think we're used to it. This is our area.
So on a lighter note, someone sent me a message and was asking what is it like creating this news for people to watch all the time. I said, well, I think that should be something that the director of news. So what is the creation of news all about? Let me just use this opportunity for one of our listeners asked that question that, well, we always with fresh news, fresh information. Our casters are always there to help them to be abreast of situations in the country. What is it like ensuring that people are always presented with the freshest stories in the nation?
Maybe I should give glory to God and glory to the CEO, Chief Gabriel Olaika, for creating the platform and giving the necessary device because as it stands now, information gathering and dissemination is basically as a result of the facilities and the gadget that you have. Yeah. So getting the information from online and from reports, from your connectivity and your connections and your links. You will need to make calls, you will need to use the WhatsApp and other devices like that, which has been made available in the studio. So glory to the founder of Some TV and the technology that is available.
Thank you very much. So for our listener there was asking that question, I think the Director of News and Current Affairs has done justice to that. So now to the matter of the day. We are going to look majorly at 2 stories here. Okay. The first is Alhaji, is it? No, Malam Nasir El-Rufai.
You prefer to be called Malam than Alhaji.
Malam Nasir El-Rufai's defection from APC to SDP. That is at the national level. While at the state level, we'll be looking at the creation of 5 new agencies by the Taraba State governor. The agencies are the Taraba State Youth Development Agency, the Taraba State Sanitation Agency, the Taraba State Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Solution Agency, and also the Taraba State Livestock Development Agency, and the 5th one is the Taraba State Drugs Management Agency. So we'll be looking at these agencies and we'll look at what they have to offer to the states, their merits and the challenges that they may face as new agencies in Taraba State. So before we go into the discussions and analysis, I would like to do a rundown on, well, there's something about Alhaji Nasir. I don't know why I keep calling him Alhaji. Probably maybe I'm beginning to see him as a leader of the opposition, so the title Alhaji befits him. Okay. As the former Kaduna State Governor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai has left the ruling APC party for the Social Democratic Party, SDP, citing dissatisfactions with the party's treatment of its member. This marks his 4th party switch since 1991, having previously been the PDP, CPC, and APC. His defection is seen as a direct challenge to President Tinubu, with speculations about a broader opposition coalition forming ahead of the 2027 elections. However, doubts remain about the SDP's ability to become a significant opposition force, while the APC has dismissed its exit as inconsequential. El-Rufai's history of political maneuvering suggests his move could have far-reaching effects on Nigeria's political landscapes. I want us also do 1 or 2 things and maybe just look at who the man is. El-Rufai history of political switches. He started in the People's Democratic Party under President Olusegun Obasanjo. He later moved to the Congress for Progressive Change in 2011 when the former president moved from ANPP to CPC. He was one of those who joined the former president Muhammadu Buhari in CPC in 2011. Then he played a key role in forming the APC in 2013. He was part of those that served as the founding members of the APC. And he's moved to the SDP marks his fourth party switch since 1999. In his past political influence and achievements, he had key government positions, including Director General of the Bureau of Public Enterprise and also the Minister of the FCT. He gained a reputation for a stricter enforcement of the Abuja Master Plan, and he was popularly known as Mr. the Demolition Man. And he also served as Kaduna State Governor from 2015 to 2023. Let's look at his falling out with the APC. He was instrumental in the APC's 2015 and 2019 election victories. He supported Tinubu's candidates in 2023. His ministerial nomination in 2023 was blocked due to security concerns. Recently, the Kaduna State Assembly accused his administration of mismanaging 423 billion naira, and he also criticized the APC for abandoning internal democracy and being dominated by illiterates and mercenaries. I think that is what so far what we have on Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Before we go on, who is Malam Nasir El-Rufai to you?
Well, he is that controversial politician that has a way of becoming popular all of a sudden. When he was the DG of Bureau of Public Enterprise, he was a champion of the privatization drive of the then administration. He became so popular with the privatization of this, with the privatization of that. He did what I think was this chairman for this tax reform. What's the name of this person? Oyedele. I think he did almost what Oyedele is doing now. He is always on the news to explain to Nigerians why this has to be privatized, why NEPA has to be privatized. And he became a very popular member of that administration. And when he became the FCT minister, he became outrageously popular in the sense that nobody is a sacred cow, no matter how high you are placed, so long as your building is not in agreement with the Abuja Master Plan, that building will go down. And he became so controversial at that point in time. Then all of a sudden he became the governor of Kaduna State. I think his first regime was, he was not really controversial in that first regime, to the best of my knowledge. But during the second regime, I think he was the one that test-run these Muslim tickets that were later on played out in the national level. He, at second regime, decides to pick a Muslim to be his running mate for the first time in the political history of Kaduna State. And there were so many agitations like that, and he made some statements who I consider that are to the extremes. But somehow he was able to establish the Muslim ticket in Kaduna State, and is still running up to now. So I think it was that gave birth to the fact that political realignments using religion like that can sell. And I think that is who I see him to be.
Okay, that's very good. I also want us to look at the fact that he was quite controversial as governor. He had this reputation of not being friendly to Southern Kaduna.
Yes.
And he also had a lot of problems with politicians within the state, people like senators, Shehu Sani. Shehu Sani, he had problems with also Senator Nkuyi.
Yes, Nkuyi. Shehu Sani is a critic. I don't think anybody is spared with Shehu Sani will criticize.
But in his own case, they had this serious part. Even it has to do with even some family members of Nasir El-Rufai, which they are known for, attacked Shehu Sani a lot of times, and it became personal between them. So, and they were once on the same side of the APC. Yeah, so
that is the way the politics of Nigeria is at times. As it stands now, I don't think Shehu Sani is still criticizing him for defecting from APC. Because Shehu Sani has always been a critic of the Tinubu's administration.
No, Shehu Sani has joined the APC immediately.
Nasir Rufai left.
Yeah, Shehu Sani has returned back to the APC.
After that shows how deep-seated their disagreement is. But I think that is just politics. Nasir Rufai is a force to reckon with.
Definitely.
As long as Nigerian politics is concerned. You see stories making the rounds. APC are making statements that say that he's not recognized, he's not relevant. But I don't think that they mentioned him and to say that he's not relevant is to show that he's actually relevant.
Definitely.
And just like I was trying to say, it is a kind of a political realignment. You understand? His defection to SDP is beginning to give SDP this kind of recognition that SDP has not before. You will discover that with Nasir El-Rufai's movement to SDP now, you begin to see that APC will begin to form some kind of strengths, because it's actually a very popular politician and there are people who are ready to follow him to any extent.
I just heard today that retired Major Hamza Al-Mustafa has also joined the SDP today.
And that's a serious threat to APC. We don't know what is going to unfold. There are so many realignment going on. Shortly before we come to the studio, I was just reading a news report that Peter Obi is in Gombe to holding a closed-door meeting with the sitting governor of Gombe State. Yeah,
I think they had a closed-door meeting with Bala Mohammed, and he came out of the meeting said that marriage is not consummated in one day, that it takes some time. Yeah.
So something is cooking.
Something is definitely cooking, but what it is, we're still looking forward to it.
Do you think a coalition has been formed? PDP top shots meeting. Peter Obi met Atiku met Nasir El-Rufai met some other people and like that. And he's beginning to meet with the Bauchi State PDP, who is the PDP chairman of the PDP Governors Forum. And as we speak now, most likely the meeting is still going on, or maybe it just ended. He's having a closed-door meeting with the governor of Gombe State, who is an APC member. So some realignment may be forming on the ground.
Definitely, from what we've seen, there's a realignment of the opposition. And if you look at it, now, for now, Nasir El-Rufai seems to be the arrowhead of this realignment. It seems to be the arrow, although there are other bigger fishes in the game, like Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Malam Rabiu Kwankwaso, we have Peter Obi, and we have even Alhaji Bala Mohammed, the governor of Bauchi State. Yes. Is one of the top movers in the PDP. And you can see they're gradually coming together. But now, Malam Nasir El-Rufai said something some years back about him never returning to the PDP.
Yes.
Is that what, do you think that is what made him to go to SDP?
It could be, but politicians in this country, I don't know whether he has left another political party and went back to it. But leaving a political party and going back to it is normal with Nigerian politicians. Yes. If he had gone back to PDP, nobody would have blamed him. Nobody would have expected Daniel Bwala to be appointed by President Buhari shortly after. I don't think it was up to 5 or 6 months. Even if it is less than a year, he became a member of a candidate that he vehemently...
But he became a member of the PDP, I think, less than 2 weeks after he finished their campaigning for the APC aspirant for Tinubu. It became less than 2 weeks, he said, when he picked his vice, he said, no, it's over with this. And 2 weeks later, he was appointed. So Daniel Bwala is someone that I think he probably might wake up tomorrow and find out he has joined the Labour Party in the UK.
Well, he couldn't have, because he's not a citizen of UK.
He has his way of joining it. He might just join, and maybe he will just join Kemi Badenoch.
Okay. But look at it this way. Look at now Atiku. Let's assume that whatever it is they are holding, or whatever meetings they are holding, is tilting towards forming a coalition. And what do you think the coalition will be if Atiku, Peter Obi, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, Nasir El-Rufai, and Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, as it stands now, Bala Mohammed of Bauchi. Some of these candidates are actually strong politicians in their own political niche, in their place of origin. So what do you think if these people form a formidable force against the ruling party? they are actually going to give Tinubu a sleepless night.
My fear for them is their individual
who all
ambition.
have ambitions. Everybody
It is
may
that
want to.
individual ambition that is destroying the PDP now at the national level. The fear that these political heavyweights, sometimes there is not enough room to contain all of them. And that may lead to them not agreeing. And at the last minute, just when they need this coalition the most, some of them will just pull out. That is my fear. But if they can come together, it's going to be an Herculean task for the APC to win the next election. But one thing with the history of Nigeria, the only time such a coalition has worked was in 2013, 2014, when a faction of the APGA, the ACN, AMPP, and a faction of the PDP came together to form a coalition. Before then, if you noticed, and even after then, after every election cycle, this is not the first time the SDP is coming. The SDP was first muted by President Olusegun Obasanjo, and he said this is the third force. It was created as a third force. The problem is the ambitions of politicians usually tear them apart. That is my fear for this coalition now.
You know, the coalition that brought President Buhari in 2015 was something similar to this. If only they have an organizer, like in the person of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, in this coalition that is about to be formed. Let's assume that Atiku now may decide to swallow his ambition and refuse to run for presidency, or there's a strong contender, maybe like Peter Obi, will decide to say, okay, I'm not contesting. And he agreed with Kwankwaso at the end of the day. And they want to move for whatever candidate that emerged, maybe Atiku or Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso or Peter Obi, or let's say Nasir El-Rufai. Because Nasir El-Rufai will be a very strong contender if he's running against President Tinubu. So I think, for instance, if he gets Igbo vice president, running against President Tinubu, because Tinubu will definitely lose that popularity among the Muslims. You understand? Because that popularity he has for the Muslim ticket then was facilitated by people like Nasir El-Rufai. Now, Nasir El-Rufai is somebody that is being deprived of his ministership position as a result of things that is related to his statements against all those sentiments like that. There's a way that Nasir El-Rufai has this popularity among the Muslims in the north. So Tinubu is going to lose that. And let's assume that he has a strong contender as a vice president in the south, maybe from the Yoruba or from the Igbo side, or maybe from the south. I think he's going to give Tinubu a very strong opposition.
Now, in all this, I'm afraid for the PDP.
Well, I don't know, but as it stands, PDP is in crisis. We don't know how. Nasir El-Rufai has already accused the sitting government of Tinubu, that it is Tinubu that is foiling this crisis in PDP. He alleged on video that Tinubu is kind of giving some members of the PDP money, particularly the Anyanwu faction. That he mentioned that particularly, that is how they were causing this crisis, so that PDP will be destabilized to the advantage of APC. And maybe that's why he refused to go to PDP. Yeah,
that is a game, if he's talking about this, that is a game he also participated in when he was in the APC or in the PDP.
Yeah, every politician.
While they're scattered. Yes. Well, it is not, the allegations, then even with Wike, structure still within within the
at times I begin to wonder whether Wike is still a member of the PDP. Because hardly will you see him talking about PDP as a political party. He always talk about his interest, this and that, telling another PDP member with every vehemence that he will be impeached. You know, when you want to impeach what do you call a sitting governor as a member of that political party, you should know that that's a very big disaster.
But President Olusegun Obasanjo did it to PDP governors. ensure that they were impeached in the middle of the night with less than maybe 6 or 10.
But that caused, maybe he was able to succeed at that point because the federal might is there for him. But if PDP loses the seats in Rivers State, though as it stands, it's still another PDP member that will emerge, the speaker and other things like that will emerge, so it will still be a PDP state. But let's see how it goes.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Wike is PDP on paper, but, well,
his body is PDP, but his spirit is with either APC or something that is against PDP.
Or let's just take, okay, his spirit is with the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the duty he has assigned to him. Now, another thing I notice about this coalition is that it is more northern in
nature.
In nature,
yes.
This is what, apart from the only southern. Major southern I'm seeing in this coalition is the fact that they're trying to woo
Peter Obi.
Yeah. And from all indications, they're trying to woo him, but at what capacity? Will they create all this only to hand over the ticket to him as a southerner, since there's this belief that is a turn of the southerner? Or will they woo him for him to take a step down to become vice president again? One thing I'm sure is that, well, a majority of the obedient movement, if one will not be comfortable with
him running as a vice presidential candidate,
especially if it's someone like Nasir El-Rufai, whom was one of their
strong critics, somebody that was completely against the obedient movement. So but Nigerians has a way of forgetting this.
Definitely.
If they are sure that Peter Obi will emerge with the support of Nasir El-Rufai, most Obedients won't mind, you understand, because some of these movements, I think the only person that has this kind of followership that Obi has, or let me say, because Buhari used to have a very religious followership before he became the president.
Definitely.
Personally, I would have said, if he had not become the president at the point that he became the president, Buhari will become some kind of a prophet.
Definitely, a political prophet,
yes,
whereby
because everybody believes that
worshipped by.
Yes, because anytime you mention Buhari, I remember some years back that you see peasants trying to send recharge card. There was this platform that was sending 100 naira recharge card in contribution to the campaign organization of Buhari's presidential bid. So Peter Obi had a similar followership. At a point in time, Peter Obi became a very popular candidate from nowhere like that. Then somehow he lost the election and Tinubu became the president. And his popularity, I'm not sure where it stands now. But let's assume that he still has that kind of followership. They may not be comfortable with him becoming vice president to any of the candidates in the north, except maybe Atiku, considering that he has been Atiku's vice president in the past. But if he descends to become, I use the word descent in quote, if he descends to become the vice president of maybe Nasir El-Rufai or Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, I think he will lose some followership.
I think so, especially those that believe that it is the turn of the South. Don't you think that the president may just play to such sentiments?
Yes, Tinubu is very popular in the South, to the best of my knowledge. South, at least among the Yorubas. It was that coalition that he envisaged, the coalition of the South, that is Yoruba South.
The Southwest.
Southwest, then, and the North. That was what brought Buhari. And after Buhari, he used, to some extent, that same sentiment to emerge as the president, because he was voted massively in some part of the Northwest like that. So that is how he became the president. So, but I see him losing that popularity in the Northwest as it stands now, because there are so many of his policies, those people that are supporting him are beginning to get dissatisfied with him. One of them prominently is Nasir El-Rufai. Nasir El-Rufai has a very strong followership in Kaduna State.
Now, let me go to the SDP are the presidential candidates in the 2023 election, in the person of Mr. Adeboye Adebayo. Now, Mr. Adeboye Adebayo has this to say about Nasir El-Rufai. He is the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party. He has described former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai as an asset to the party, but acknowledged that he has weaknesses to work on. speaking on the program, Adebayo praised El-Rufai's intellect and track record of public service, but noted that Nigerians were assessing based on past comments and decisions. Is he far from the truth?
No, he is not. I don't think he's far from the truth, because hardly will you find somebody that will say Nasir El-Rufai is not an asset. And the fact that he's mentioning his intellectual capability is another thing. He's a very intelligent person. Yeah. He stands here. Anytime he speaks, you will know that he speaks coherently and with sense. Even if there is no point for him to make, there is a way he infuses point into his statements. But some of the weaknesses that he will need to work on is at times he's so radical with his statement that he doesn't care the consequences, the political consequences of his statements, and that is what has cost him the ministerial position, I think. Because he's made statements that are derogatory to the Christians in Southern Kaduna. Yeah. They considered they've issued statements that condemn those statements, feeling as if it was targeting at them to derogate them, to insult them like that. So those are the things as he had some confrontations with prominent clergies in Nigeria, Johnson Suleiman, like that. And that affected his popularity among the Christians in one way or the other. Hardly, there are some states you go to, like Plateau State, you hardly mention the name of Nasir El-Rufai in some places in Nigeria, because especially among people who have some serious sentiment issues. So I think this is one of the things you will need to work on, and I don't see him cleaning up those things in a very short time, because hardly will anybody, there are people you see online coming out now to condemn him. There are people that are already saying as far as they are alive, nothing will give him that his position in politics has come to an end. He will not even get a councillorship. Somebody went up to the extent of saying that.
Nigerians can be very, very...
Yes, but I doubt if Nasir El-Rufai decide to contest for presidency today, in fact, so many things will happen. He may not win, I must admit. He may not win. His chances of winning is very low, but he will be a very strong force to contend with.
To contend with, that is quite obvious. It's going to be a very strong force to contend with. Now, another thing that comes to my mind about all this is usually when politicians defect, you hear they defected with their structures in social state, or they defected with social number of people. That is how we see defect. But in this case, within the stories of maybe 2,000 followers from his ward, or probably he is bigger than this. And we've not heard other politicians, you heard his followers say that, yes, I've defected with him. Does this have any effect on the strength of his defection?
Yes, it may be his strategy, because no doubt he has some followership. I think his son is still a member of APC. His own biological son is still a member of APC. That tells you it may be a strategy for him. At times you don't show your strengths too early. I know that so many politicians, so many members of reps, so many senators will have to follow Nasir El-Rufai when the time is right.
Okay. But there's also the question of when he came on board in 2015, APC had more. They had two senators. There are two senators in Kaduna, and they had a large number of reps. But by 2023 elections, they had only one senator, and they didn't have the majority they used to have. Do you think the people that rejected him while he was governor will now see a need to follow him to where he is now? Or maybe the dynamics of politics is always about interest. Yes. Probably their interest may...
As it stands now, there is already a realignment.
Yes. Especially in Kaduna State.
Yes, there's already a realignment. What makes him not to have that popularity then could be some sentiment that has been overtaken by events now. Definitely. Because even some of the Southern Kaduna people now are actually coming back to say, okay, those things are politics, because one or two of them has come out to say, to make statement that indicates that it's politics. He just wanted to gain a political popularity then. And it goes a long way to tell you the kind of person he is. He will come out to tell you he doesn't have anything against Christians. He will tell you this and he will tell you that. And it's just politics. When the time is right, you will discover that even those who are staunch, what do you call it, staunchly against him, will have one reason or the other to come and join the fold, because if a coalition is being formed, if you don't follow Nasir El-Rufai because of the personality of Nasir El-Rufai, you may follow him because of Atiku, you may follow him because of Peter Obi, you follow him because of... So that at the end of the day, those enemies as it stands becomes friends.
Due to interest.
Yes, due to interest. Since the interest is to unseat APC at the national level, they may form a very formidable cause. And the governor of Kaduna State should be wary of what is going to happen to him during the next election.
But it's quite funny that you see the people of Southern Kaduna now gravitating towards the APC that they never wanted before now.
Yes.
So that is the funny thing about politics. It is all about interest.
Obasani is doing to them some kind of politics that they want. He's beginning to recognize them, reinstating some chiefs,
and even
giving them some
even the president himself, he has created that in 2 institutions. There now,
yes,
the chief of defense staff
is from Southern
Kaduna. And okay, yes, viewers, that is all we can take on the story of the Nasir El-Rufai. And now we'll go for a short break. When we come back, today's politics continues.
When a tanker bearing fuel falls or an underground pipe bearing fuel bursts, what do? Scooping fuel in your bucket or running far away from impending fire? You have a few seconds to take the wisest decision. Walk away? No, that is not enough. Shift? No, that is not enough. Stay there and gist and take shots with your phone? That is madness. Run. Yes, run away. Yes, your life depends on your action. The flames come suddenly, unexpected but uncontrollable. Why? Fuel is highly inflammable. Why? It just requires a spark to set off a ravaging inferno. So, don't stay there to think. Storm away to live. Do not throw away your life in anguish for meaningless fuel siphoning. Be advised.
Welcome back to today's Politics on Some TV. And before we went on that break, we were discussing the defection of Malam Nasir El-Rufai to the SDP. And with me in this discussion is Mr. Daniel Ira-Kukwen. You're still here with me, and we're about to come to the home front now to discuss issues that has to do with Taraba State. So for our viewers, you can follow us on Facebook at Some TV. At Some TV, and you can also follow us on YouTube at Some TV Live, and also you can watch us on free-to-air satellites on GSAT, on NSAT, on CSAT, and on Stronger Decoder. So we continue with today's politics on Some TV. We're going to look at the fact that the Taraba State government approved the establishment of 5 new agencies. The state established the Taraba State government first of all approved 3 agencies. That is the Taraba State Youth Development Agency, which focuses on promoting youth empowerment and development, creating opportunities for skill acquisition, education, healthcare, and decision making. The other agency was the Taraba State Sanitation Agency, which is responsible for promoting environmental sanitation and hygiene, reducing open defecation, improving waste management, and promoting access to clean water and sanitation facilities. The other agency created was Taraba State Bioentrepreneurship Innovation and Solution Agency, which focuses on promoting bioentrepreneurship and innovation, providing support for researchers, innovators, and entrepreneurs working on bio-based projects. A day later, the government also approved the Taraba, also established the Livestock Development Agency, which aims to modernize traditional farming practice, improve productivity, and increase investment in the livestock sector. And just yesterday, it was also approved the establishment of the Taraba State Drugs Management Agency. So these 5 new agencies have been approved by the Taraba State government. Now, let us pick these agencies one by one. If we look at the Taraba State Youth Development Agency, we focus on promoting youth empowerment and development, creating opportunities for skills acquisition, education, healthcare, and decision-making process. I can safely say that in the terms of appointment and the governor's core policies is targeted at the youth. Because if you look at his policies in education is usually youth. Any policy that favors education is usually for the youth. And if you also look at his cabinet, he has a lot of young men and women in the cabinet. And also the creation of this youth development agency. What do you think are the merits of this new agency?
Yes, I've always made statements that describe the governor as one of the most youth-friendly governors, considering the attention he has given the youth in terms of nursery, that is primary and secondary free education policy that he has introduced. Aside that, there is something significant that he has done in the Ministry of Digital Economy and Innovation. You know, we normally say younger ones are the leaders of tomorrow. Now, Governor Abu Kefas is positioning the youth of Taraba State through these digital innovation initiatives in such a way that tomorrow will be better, in the sense that this digital innovation is the future. As it stands now, the world is tending towards cybernetics, digital economy, and so many other things like that. That has to do with the technological advancement in the ICT and other things like that. So the government has created a ministry that is saddled with that responsibility, and they've been working hand in hand with Ministry of Science and Technology to see to it that the youth of Taraba are positioned in such a way that the future will be theirs. They are projected to lift Taraba State from where it is now into the future by introducing youths into activities and training. Even, what is it called, Algoran, some organizations were invited to train tribal youths in how to position themselves for the future. I think that is one of the most salient points of this administration that points to the fact that he has the youth in mind.
What about those the school of thought that this is more or less like duplication, that we have the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and that probably the Ministry of Youth and Sport could handle such issues without duplicating or creating more agencies that will consume funds. You know, we are always worried about funding for these agencies.
Yes, you know, this is an agency that I think should be under the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and they are going to function specifically on some terms of reference like that. One of which I believe should include things like skill acquisition and endeavors like that is going to position the youth in a better position that they are now. I don't think it is a duplication. It is, I think it's for emphasis.
It's for emphasis.
It's for emphasis.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I think I will agree with you. It's not a duplication, but it's for emphasis on the fact that there needs to be youth development in Taraba State. Now, this takes us to Taraba State Sanitation Agency. Just while reading this, a song came to my mind: environmental sanitation. Make una wake up, brother. Clean everywhere. Do you remember that song that year? During the time of the General Babangida. Make una wake up, brother. Clean everywhere. Make una wake up, sister. Clean everywhere. I think environmental sanitation used to be the last Saturday of every month. From 7 to 10 a.m. And if we are caught outside there,
the military all over the town, especially some of us from Takum that grew up in Takum, we used to have this guy called Gaga, Otu Gaga, Warrant Officer Otu Gaga. He's one of the most popular. Every last Saturday of the month, you see him in town with his walking stick. And that is how, except you are in a vehicle that carries government plate number, you can go anywhere. Wherever he stops you, you go down in that place to weed the ground and clean up the environment before you continue. And
I think that it serves some purposes then. We do this environmental sanitation nationwide. Then later when it was scrapped by some states, And I remember Lagos State were observing it until, I think during the time of Fashola, also saw that some people took Lagos State to court and they said it is against the law for you to restrict people from moving, democracy and the rest of it, and that's how we stopped. Until, but I think this Taraba State Sanitation Agency is a good one because it will be responsible for promoting environmental sanitation and hygiene, and it will reduce open defecation and also improving waste management, and which I think there's a need for us to begin to manage our waste properly here in Taraba, especially waste is wealth.
Yes, I think I agree with those people that said restriction to movement should not just come like that. I think this agency will be saddled with the responsibility of creating awareness so the needful will be done. You don't have to be compelled to keep your environment clean. You just need to know that if you leave this and that, there are health hazards associated to it. Apart from the fact that there are health hazards, there are other factors. Even, what is it called? The beauty of the environment too matters. You cannot afford to be an urban center and everywhere is dirty, and people go around and see things that are constituting eyesore. It's not going to help develop. There are instances where people, when they travel abroad, like people that went to pilgrimage, will come back giving testimonies of how everywhere is clean. You won't even see any paper, any polythene bag on the road. Everywhere is clean. It is because of this kind of awareness that has become embedded in these people, so much so that you won't see anybody just throwing away any waste anyhow. And there is another dimension to this agency. I think, there's a way that waste now can be converted to wealth. That is what is trending now in many parts of the world, in East Africa, in Kenya, even in Nigeria, even in Lagos State. There are instances where people are converting waste into wealth. I heard of one story somebody is doing a business that he calls shit business. It's a shit business is serious business. It's a serious business. Yeah. He goes about with a toilet system for public functions. The toilet is constructed in such a way that it's movable. And people pay money to use those toilets. And he's making very good money. He's a very high chief now, Otumba Gaddafi. He used to be the bodyguard to Chief MKO Abiola. So he said he realized that when they go for events like that, he moves with it, he find out that the top government officials or movers or shakers of the they usually find it hard to ease themselves. So sometimes just simply because they want to ease themselves, and there's nowhere, they will cut off the. So you will be wondering where is this all of a sudden? All of a sudden, it's because there's no. So he now came with the idea that I think we need to create a special service for this. So he started with these mobile toilets. They move from, and if you're coming from into Lagos, then he had this very big place just at the outskirts of Lagos State where it is written shit business is serious business. And it's a very serious business. His name is Otumba. Otumba is the title. That means that the chief that is on the right side of the king, Gaddafi. And a lot of people are into the business now. There's no major party you go to Lagos that you don't find these toilets both at the large scale and small scale. So I think sanitation in a state like Taraba, we need to enforce sanitation. And to be fair to Taraba, Taraba is a much cleaner as a city than other cities I've been to. But with population influx, if we don't have mechanism in place to take, now simply because there are still space, there are bushes on unused pieces of land. We still have where to dump our refuse and the rest of. But time will come once these places get developed, we will know that there's a serious issue of a lack of facilities for sanitation. So I think this is a very good one if it is sustained and properly financed. There's this private individual that I know in Yola that has bring it upon himself to see to it that he contributes his quota to the sanitation of the environment. He established a company where he asks anybody that brings a particular kilogram of polythene bag, wasted polythene bag, he pays a particular amount.
Yes.
A particular kilogram, he pays 10 naira for it. And you see kids going all around picking those things and bringing them in mass. And there's a way he processed them and recycled them to a particular product that I don't know. So I think these sanitation agencies should look at innovations like this, not necessarily saying, okay, keep packing this. They're actually doing a good job. I must commend this Operation Keep Taraba Clean by one Kefas like that. They're actually doing a nice job keeping the environment and the city of Jalingo clean. You will see how they'll go even up to the extent of removing blocked culverts and other things like that, so that there will be no blockage during rainy seasons and other things. That has gone a long way in helping the beauty of the environment. So I think they should think along innovative endeavors where West, we already have a Ministry of Waste Management.
Yes, management, yes.
So I think we should think of the innovation where waste can be converted to wealth. I've seen innovations where plastics, general plastics, are melted and they are converted into interlocks.
Definitely.
I've seen those things. So if government can decide to support individuals who can do this, or maybe bring in the equipment, train the youth and say, okay, you can collect as many, you'll discover that there will be no polythene bags on the roads again, and there will be no all these plastic bottles on the way again and other things like that.
Have you ever, in those days, have you ever experienced what they call sanitation officers?
Yes.
Have you ever been at home and they came knocking and they say they want to check the house? Well, while I was young, I remember in Kwara State there we had this, what they call it wole wole. Okay. Wole wole in Yoruba means people that peep into they check the houses.
Even
so sanitation, they come.
Okay.
They come around and they check your environment. I can remember they check the house, they check the toilet, the bedroom, they make some points. And sometimes some people, if the house is dirty, I don't know if the laws now, but you know, it's the military era, a lot of excess is there. They check the house, they check the toilet, and they charge. Sometimes you are charged for not keeping the environment clean. And they were fed there until they do wear brown uniform, they call them wole wole. And I think in Lagos State, they still have such. They come, they check the compound.
Yes. In Takum, in those days where we're growing up, it's only the environment, but they don't go inside you're inside your parlor, and they don't do that. They only check the environment if your backyard is
toilets and bedroom. Yeah. So
they do check pit latrines too. I remember they will check pit latrines. If it is not properly kept and well covered, you will be penalized. There is a way they will even penalize you with giving you corporal punishments.
Yeah, but I know that. Yes. Well, I think with technology we have gone beyond such this. Now let's go to the issue of the Taraba State Bioentrepreneurship Innovation and Solution Agency. This agency. The agency focuses on promoting bioentrepreneurship and innovation, providing support for researchers, innovators, and entrepreneurs working on bio-based projects. I think that is for bioentrepreneurship. And for those of us who may be asking what is bioentrepreneurship, it refers to the process of applying entrepreneurial principles and practices to development and commercialization of innovative bioscience and biotechnology products, services, and solutions. So again, we can comfortably say that this government is looking ahead of time. We're beginning to get digital, and we want to move with the trends, the way the trends are going around the world.
Yeah, I think bioentrepreneurship has to do with issues that has to do with climate change too, in such a way that it's an effort to mitigate the effect of climate change.
Definitely.
By the time you go bio in your technology, you discover that you stop the usage of things like fossil fuel and other things like that. So I think it is at the right time that this agency is being set up in Taraba State. We're beginning to experience the effect of climate change in this part of the world. Our environment that used to receive rain in April and maybe May. At times you don't see rain again until when it is around June or July. It is actually beginning to, we're seeing it with our koro eyes, that desert encroachment is actually coming. I think it was 3 or 4 days ago, I was sitting somewhere in Mile 6, and all of a sudden, something that looks like a wild wind, but not a wild wind per se, because it was so large, so elaborate that it couldn't have been a wild wind. And I was telling the person I was sitting with that these are the effects of climate change, because these are the kind of sandstorms that people in the Borno area used to experience. Look at it now, we're experiencing it in Jalingo already. This is strange, and people were surprised. Somebody was, is it that rain is going to fall? There was no cloud anywhere. But the dust was so thick that it could have been described as as what is it called? The Sandstone.
Sandstone.
So bio entrepreneurship agency it come at the right time.
Okay. Now, okay, from there, let's move to the Livestock Development Agency, which aims to modernize traditional farming practices in the area of livestock, in the livestock sector, and also improve productivity and increase investment in livestock sector. There's a report that said that the Mambilla Plateau has the highest, number of
highest number of head of cattle in the whole of Nigeria.
In the whole of Nigeria.
And some people are even speculating that the whole of West Africa. That is what we know since when we're in secondary school. Those are the things we learn in agric science, the subjects when we're still in secondary school. But unfortunately, we have not been able to harness those things over the years now. If the government of Taraba State is taking a bold step towards that, I think it is a step in the right direction. Yeah. In Hausa they say Numa Tushen Arziki. It is an age-long source of wealth. You understand? Agriculture is an age-long source of wealth. It is it's an investment that at the end of the day you will be able to benefit from it. There is no alternative to food.
Definitely.
No matter how poor you are, somehow.
What about prayer? Can you pray away hunger?
There is no alternative. If you pray, well, I don't know. There are instances where God will, but somehow God will still provide for you food. You understand? So somehow, it is an endeavor that should be applauded. You understand? If this Livestock Development Agency has just as it has seen the light of the day now, let's see how the implementation process will encompass all these aspects. So that at the end of the day, we will become a hub where our cattle will not just be taken to Iware market like that sold for a chicken change. Let's look for how this agency will develop meat processing investments, companies, dairy products and other things like that. And just like you were mentioning in other platforms that other day, look at the bones, look at the horns, look at the skin and other things like that.
If you look at the livestock, I think sometimes people think livestock is cow. We have fish. Livestock is any animal that you can domesticate and also that can give you meat. We have fish, we have horses. We have horses, we have camels, we have donkeys, we have ostrich, dogs, we have fish. And a lot of other, even snakes. People rear snakes. Also in poultry, we have a lot of poultry animals that are poultry that can add value to the society. Then again, there's the area of the value chain. We need to also improve in the area of value chain. Most of the time, we just rear animals and sell without looking at the fact that they have skin, they have even the feces.
And do you know that even goat milk?
Yes, goat milk.
Yes,
fresh milk.
Are things that should be commercialized.
Definitely. I've read American novels whereby they consume goat milk. Yes.
And I think between 1999 and 2000, President Obasanjo was citing an example of the nation Cuba. He said the nation Cuba highest source of revenue is cows. Their highest source of revenue. As at 1999, I don't know whether it is still obtainable as it stands now. But that was a statement made by President Olusegun Obasanjo on live TV. And this is how he said the former president of Cuba, Fidel Castro, was describing it. He went to Cuba for a state visit, and Fidel Castro took him to a cow that was well kept, properly taken care of. And Fidel Castro was telling Obasanjo that this is the cash cow, literally. Yeah. Because this is the cow that produced the highest quantity of milk. So he instructed that it should be kept close to where he will personally go to monitor it. Now, just look at what cows is doing to Cuba. And we have 1 million heads of cow in Taraba State. Imagine the kind of wealth that we have.
Thank you very much. And I think our time is not on our side. Let us take this before we round up. Taraba State Drugs Management Agency.
Yes, health is wealth. We've seen recent reports of how NAFDAC is battling with counterfeit drugs and other things like that. So I think this agency has come to augment the effort of NAFDAC in Taraba State. And another perspective to this agency is the fact that It will ensure that drugs are available in all the medical facilities, from the primary health care to tertiary institutions like the private specialist hospital, in such a way that patients will not be exposed to buying fake drugs from pharmacy, because in most instances, when you're giving prescription in the hospital and there is no drugs in the hospital to be given to you, you have to go to the pharmacy where you're not sure of whether you're buying a good drug or not. Yes. And that has been a serious challenge for many Nigerians, and Tarabans are not exempted from that. So I think this endeavor to establish Taraba Drug Management Agency is in pursuance of the health and well-being of Tarabans, and it should be applauded.
Yes, our viewers, whenever you have something very interesting to discuss and you have an analytical mind in the studio, time flies like lightning. And we have come to the end of today's politics, and I really want to thank the analyst in the house today, the person of Mr. Iradane Kukwen, the Director of News and Public Affairs, our current affairs and Some TV. Thank you very, very much for the analysis you've done. So Tarabans and Nigerians, as we move forward, let us remember that our collective efforts can bring about real change. Let us continue to work together towards a brighter future for all. The time for action is now. Let us seize this moment and work towards a better tomorrow. Thank you. And in conclusion, I'll say our nation's future depends on our ability to come together and find common ground. Let us strive for a politics of unity and purpose. I am Abraham Minor Joda. Stay tuned. Keep watching Some TV.
To uphold the integrity of Nigeria's